Hi, I'm Ozzy from Three Monkeys Solderless, and what I thought we would do today is some quick and dirty demos with some bad guitar playing of these 5 PedalFire pedals that I've been working on, which are, pedal versions, tube-based pedal versions of classic amplifiers. We've got 5 of them to demonstrate for you today with a Two Notes Torpedo Cab M. We've got the Moto Teddy Jose. We've got a something like a Tweed Bandmaster. We've got a hopped up AC30, a Blackface Deluxe, and then a JTM 45. So let's see how they sound. All right, so first up we have the JTM 45 pedal, and right now we've got it set on the jump setting, and give you that sort of, like Eric kind of sound. So I think it's got that kind of good bluesy kind of sound. If we unjump it, we obviously go back to that more brighter sound. Take back off some of the gain. So I think that's a good demonstration of what the M45 II will do. Next up, we'll do the AC30, AC3. All right, so the AC3 is up and going right there. I'll fiddle some knobs. So turn down the master a little. And there's complements. The controls are master, saturation, bass, treble, and volume. Now let's see what happens when you kind of crank it up a little bit. We see we get some really nice jangly kind of tones. Let's turn it up a little bit. Back off so we don't blow up the mic. You turn off some of this stuff so you can hear it. Now, if we really want to go over the top, we can even bring in the boost. Turn up the volume a little bit. And then we can use the saturation, which mimics the power amp saturation. So you don't really need any kind of a distortion pedal. This cleans up great. And let's see how these things take pedals. I'm going to throw that Memory Man up in front of it. So hold on just one second. All right, so we got the Memory Man plugged into it, and it really takes pedals nicely. We can turn on some of the effects. Maybe turn on a reverb. So you can see that really boosts up the signal a bit. Can go back if you, I mean, this is a great one for getting that kind of, 90s kind of thing, If I play it. Yeah, so I think that's a good one for the AC3. Next up, let's put on the Blackface Deluxe. All right, so next up, obviously, is the Blackface Deluxe PedalFire. It has the master, the bass, the treble, the volume, 2 tubes, 1 input, 1 output. We're still obviously going into the 2 notes with a Celestian setting, so it's not ideal. I've got some other IRs, but for this is just a quick demonstration of these things. Then we'll go more into depth and try to find like the right R for each pedal. I've got some JBL ideas for this one. But that's your basic sound. I'm going to turn off this microphone so you don't hear too much of the with it. All right, so that was, dead dry. We can add a little bit of effects into that. Let's put on some delay and reverb. Maybe doubling. Going up to the neck pickup again. All right, I think that's good for this pedal. Next up, we'll put up the Tweed Bandmaster. All right, so we got the Bandmaster up, and this is a one-tube version. I think I'm going to definitely add a second tube to this circuit. So this one, don't consider it completely done yet. This was the first one I built, and it really was built for going into the line-in on my Marshall, so I could get the extra, compression and gain from the phase inverter and the power amp on the Marshall. And when I got the idea of using the 2 notes and going that way, you quickly realize that the power amp distortion, although this will simulate power amp distortion, the second tube really makes a big difference. But I think you could get some good ideas of how these controls work, because they're kind of unique. It has this unique treble potentiometer that has a tap on it. So it's like a 4-lug potentiometer, and it really has a very different sound than, like your standard, like Blackface Deluxe or something like that. Let me turn off the, and so you can sort of hear what I'm talking about. Very unique sort of tone controls. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a pedal to throw in front of it so you can sort of see how well that all works. Okay, so I hooked up this pedal board that I've got on the floor right here, just to, it was handy. It was nearby. It has a tube screamer on it, a wah univibe, a couple of fuzz pedals, things like that. And that's, part of this system idea, right, is to have your pre-pedal board, your amplifier, PedalFire board, and then have your ambience board. So for this, we're going to use the tube screamer to make up for the lack of the second tube. But when we put in this second tube, which I'm going to do, I think it's going to really make this amp shine and really get closer to that whole Montrose sort of thing. But for now, we'll just blast the front end with a tube screamer. We've put on a little bit of plate, reverb, and a little bit of a slap delay in there. And then we've got the tube screamer on. So let's see what we get. I don't think he used the Univibe in the wah pedal. All right, I think so. That's good for the TBM. I guess the last thing we got to put up there is what, the Jose. So let me just throw that up real quick, and that'll be for comparison. All right. All right, so we got the Moto Teddy Jose on the board right now, just for comparison. We've done a bunch of different things with this pedal, so there's more than any of the other pedals out there on my little channel thingy if you wanted to see more examples of using it in different situations. But I figured it'd be helpful to do it in this way with the comparison directly with the other little PedalFires in the exact same setting on the same day with the same guitar, the same, you know, the same sunspots, the same tube gnomes, the same underwear monkeys, all that stuff is the same. In fact, I'm pulling the tubes too. I'm using the same 3 tubes or 2 tubes for everything, so that we can really get an accurate comparison. So let's hear the Jose in this setup as it sits today. Put a little bit of schmutz on there, a little bit of schmaz. Crank it up a little bit. Yeah, so there you have that thing. If you want to see it, like I said, more of it, there's other videos out there. So this is like the first basic comparison between our family of PedalFires. I think these I'm happy with. The Moto Teddy, the AC3, the M45-2, the FD2. I think we're going to add the tube to the TBM1 to get it closer to the whole rock handy thing. And then we're going to start doing one at a time a little bit more in depth and try to dial in some and create maybe some IR, some impulse responses for the Two Notes to capture some, you know, sounds and some cabinets that would really be complementary to the unit. So anyway, this is very early on in the R&D development, the inside look on developing these things. And I thank you for watching all this boring stuff. And again, sorry for the clams. And I'll see you guys next time.